Hi guys, my name's Dave Nicholson and welcome to UKGK. I'm the owner of Killer Kits and the UKGK show and now UKGK TV. This is my good friend Bill.
Hi, my name's Bill Voice. I'm a teacher by day and a superhero by night. Not really. I actually am a small kit producer and I specialise in dinosaurs, in particular prehistoric scenes.
So how did you get into it, Bill? What's the dinosaur bill all about?
Well, essentially, I collected dinosaur kits when I was a kid, Airfix, Lindbergh, Aurora.
Yep,
Later in life, I went into, I think it was Model World. Yeah.
yep,
I was confused. I didn't realise the title was about model kits. So I went in and I bought some Revel repops of some old Aurora kits. And I thought,
Right.
oh, these are the Aurora kits. And then I realised there was a whole sort of online community which were interested in reviving prehistoric scenes. And they did things called add-ons, which are revival style kits in an old-fashioned way.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, I've got the skills. I could do that. And I did.
And that's it, isn't it?
That's it, basically. And you? How did you get into
How
this?
did I get into it? Well, the short story of it is, when I lived at home with my parents many moons ago, I was ill.
Mhm.
I'd got man flu, like I say, nearly lost a leg.
I was going to say, I
Yeah,
told you that.
nearly lost a leg. So my mum, God bless her, she popped out to the shops one day. I think she went to get out of the way, if I'm really honest with you.
Right.
And she fetched back two items for me. One of them was, remember the super drug that everyone used to get, Lucasade, with the,
Oh yeah, it's
with the yellow, with the orange.
Yeah, the universal.
Yeah, that's it. It would cure
medicine,
everything. That would cure everything.
With the
would it?
orange one.
Yep, it'd
No
cure
flavours
everything.
back then, was
Yeah,
there?
COVID wouldn't have a chance,
No, I
would it?
was going to say. Where did you
Anyway,
come
she
from?
fetched me that back, and she fetched me like a comic, DC Comics.
Right.
I read it. It was never like anything I used to read before, and I thought I've got to follow, get these things, find out where these things are. I've got to get more. So I eventually found a comic shop in Crewe where I lived at the time. Went into the shop, and I was amazed. It was all these fantastic comics and books and everything, and there it was in front of me, this big nice box, and it was a screaming Freddy Krueger, and I had to have it. Everyone thought it was a lunatic, but I had to have it. And then the owner of the shop, Carl at the time, after a while we got to know, we became friends, and he introduced me to Joe Bailey, and we basically decided that we're going to do our own kit line. So that's where it all started. Never had any money since, to be honest. It's always been the same.
Well, so basically, you basically fell into it like we all do, I suppose.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I did up years when I was young. I did the same as you did, the dino kits and the Spock with the serpents. I did all that. Yeah, I did all that sort of stuff. And to be fair, after building and painting the Screaming, the Horizon, the Geo stuff, I thought I'd love to have a go at characters that I like. That's something that nobody's done. So I got in touch with Joe, and basically we discussed stuff, and I came up with this Cape Fear. And as I said to you before, a bit later on, I found out he said to me if he'd have done it for nothing because he loved the character. So that was a trick. That was a trick that we lost there. But there you go. But
So the channel, hopefully, whatever it becomes.
yeah,
So basically, what we're trying to do is increase awareness of the United Kingdom garage kit scene.
we are. Yeah,
Because it's a vibrant scene, isn't it? There's a lot of people into it, but we don't necessarily have a mouthpiece, do we?
not at the moment. Not at the moment. It's very difficult, Bill, because compared to the United States, we're a smaller entity. But I believe that the guys over here is just as enthusiastic about the stuff. And when I go to the shows, they love the stuff. Obviously, there's, they buy off me as killer kits, but they get dead enthusiastic about it. I don't want this channel to become like a selling platform. I don't want it to be, oh look, this is this, this is this. Yes, we will put new stuff up there. We will promote new products, US and UK, both of them. But it's predominantly not a selling platform. It's something you put on while you're doing your painting.
Yeah, people are interested in stuff that comes straight out the box. People are interested in what's coming up. They don't
Definitely.
necessarily need to buy it, but they're interested in what's available.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping somewhere along the line we can put in a bit of thought-provoking discussion as well.
Yes, we can. I've got some nice stories I could tell you that are quite amusing and not so amusing and whatever. We're going to do some road trips, particularly you wanted to go on some of them with us, and also we're going to do out the boxes, reviews, what's new, and so all sorts of stuff like that, really.
Yeah, because I'm interested in the upcoming Ukgk because it's the first one I've gone to since COVID. So that's going to be a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But there's also some other ones. There's some military ones I want to go to and some horror ones I want to go to as well. See what's available, see what the scene's about these days.
All really, really cool. Maybe one day we'll get over the other side of the water and see our American cousins. Oh, by the way, big shout out to the guys in the States. There's some fantastic content out there. Jason Scott, brilliant channel. Norbert, you love it, fantastic.
Yeah, because those are things we've been listening to that inspired us to do this, really.
Definitely, you guys inspired us to do it, so
we
it's
feel
your
inspired
fault.
by that, so we blame you.
We blame
there
you. Right, so quickly on, I think what we'll move on to now is the next item, which is a review by yourself again.
Is this the Alice Cooper one?
I think so. Let's do it.
School's out, isn't it? School's out.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Okay, this is a flashcard, and this flashcard says Ukgk TV. And the reason I've got a flashcard is because in my spare time, i.e. Monday to Friday, I'm a teacher. So I'm used to using these things. In fact, you can't see it, but everything I say now is on a flashcard in front of the camera in a sort of position that you can't see it. So I'm not going through this without script, don't worry. Well, I am actually. It's a bit like going down a hill on a bicycle with no brakes. But that's the fun of it, isn't it? And it's a bit like kit building. You go into something that you've not done before and you never know how it's going to come out, especially with a garage kit. And the reason we're at Ukgk TV is because we're interested in garage kits. The other reason I told you I'm a teacher is because this is a subject in this unboxing which is very close to my heart. And it's this. It's Alice Cooper, the Dark God himself. He single-handedly kind of godfathered punk rock and goth and all of those things. He is a dark figure. If you actually talk to Alice Cooper, though, or listen to him on Desert Island Discs, he's got some fantastic things to say. And actually, he's a golfing pussycat in reality. But his persona on stage is one of an absolute madman. And he released a song in the 1970s called School's Out for Summer. And I play this at the end of every term. And I'm 2 weeks away from my summer holidays, so school is out for summer for me in a very short time. But people think it's the kids singing that song. It's not. Believe me, it's the teachers. And this lovely little rendition of Alice Cooper, which is a kind of a sort of like a bust, but like kind of 2/3 of his body. It's quite a nice little kit, this. And when I say little, it's really not little. It weighs an absolute ton. You can feel the quality in it. They often say, never mind the quality, feel the width. This is quality and width at the same time. So have a look at this. Once again, all the traditional sort of hallmarks of a really good piece of sculpture. Figures moving around in space. It's using every angle. Doesn't matter where you look at it. You've always got a piece of interest. I mean, that's the back. I mean, look at the back. You could spend hours looking at the back of that. Got all this movement in the straitjacket that the figure is wearing. You've got lots and lots of detail in the hair. Not too much. So you've got like quite a big form there that counteracts the form of the body. Now, this is a little bit controversial as far as I'm concerned, because I'm one of these old-fashioned Victorian people that likes to make things out of clay and cast them, right? This is traditionally pressure cast. So when you get this is a proper traditional garage kit in the sense that it's made of a big chunk of resin. And the people here at Creature Features who make kits, and the people at, I think it's Demented Dervish Studios, when they make kits, they make them in the back room in big rubber molds with loads of vats of resin. It's a little bit like Frankenstein's laboratory. If you can't see it, you can smell it through the door because of the smell of the resin coming through the door. So this is absolutely traditionally made. Now, like I said, this is Demented Dervish Studios, which is run by a guy called Keith Cousins. And when he does a cast, he makes sure that there's absolutely no cleanup needed. You know the problem with a lot of garage kits, particularly the cheaper ones you buy. I don't buy cheaper ones because there's so many reasons not to buy the cheaper ones. I buy more expensive ones because I know that the quality of the resin is going to last. It's not going to deteriorate. And I also know that on a good kit, the pieces are going to fit, especially if the manufacturer has spent a good deal of time taking them out of the molds carefully, pressure treating them to the right times and everything, using the right mixtures of resin. And when I look at this and I tap it, it's a bit like an old-fashioned wheel tapper on a train. You only have to tap it to be able to tell that it's good. There's no cracks, there's no air bubbles. That is solid, milky, marble-like resin. Michelangelo would have been pleased with this. Here's the base. And the base obviously refers to Schools Out for Summer. It's in the shape of a traditional old-fashioned school desk. It's got the spiders, of course, because it's Alice Cooper, the magician of malice there. And it's also got Alice Cooper's name on the front and the body of a snake. Goes together like that. It's got this nice little stand on the back, which keeps it going like that. Just turn Alice's face towards you so you can see it. Mouth's open, face is animated. It's not just like a, and I'll come to this in a bit later, it's not just like a digital recreation of a photograph. It is a digital original though. It is generated, the original of this is generated using a 3D printer, and it's designed on a 3D software. Now, I say that when I say 3D software, you can hear my voice, can't you, sinking. But this is a good example of that kind of thing. This is not some very stiff kind of cheap turbo squid kind of thing. This is somebody who's digitally created this sculpture that can actually sculpt as well. And it's a guy called Andy Copeland, and I'm sure that in the past he's been just as animated and just as good with a piece of clay. But Andy's sculpted this digitally, and he hasn't just sort of recreated a photograph. What he's done is actually sculpted it. It's hard to explain, but when you've got 3D software, you can produce something which is really stiff and robotic, or you can reach in there with your digital pens and you can bring out real character. Now, I would argue, when I first saw this kit, I said to Dave, "Oh, it's a lovely kit. Is this traditionally sculpted?" Because I was hoping he was going to say yes, because I love the quality of it, and I love the way it's made, and I love the look on its face. To me, that looks like it was made of a piece of clay. There's absolutely no evidence in this sculpture that it's anything but traditional sculpture. The only thing that I could say that does maybe give it away is the fineness of the detail on the fabrics. If you look at this canvas straitjacket, you can actually see every piece, every web of canvas, every thread of the weave. And to be honest with you, I'll deal with it being digitally done if I can get a kit done like that. And this is, for me, this is the future, because we're not going to stop people digitally drawing kits, because sculpting with clay is a thankless, laborious process. And a lot of the time, the process overrides what you make, because you haven't really got time to put the, I don't know, the spirit into it, because you're basically trying to get the clay to stick together. You're basically trying to get it to form. You're stopping it from breaking under its own weight. There's a million things wrong with it, you know, especially if, like me, use ordinary mineral clay or Sculpey or like plasticine or anything like that. You know that it doesn't support its own weight. So to an extent, traditional sculpture is limited by its process, which is part of its beauty and part of its joy, but also it's something we can't just venerate for the sake of it. We have to kind of open ourselves up a bit to a kind of modern way of thinking. So when I found out this was generated digitally, I was like surprised and pleased that somebody had come up with a piece of kit like this, which is so beautiful, but doesn't in any way give itself away. It doesn't look like a 3D printed cast. It's got none of the shortcomings of that. And because it's cast traditionally after they've made the original, then it's a proper kit. It's a proper garage kit. I've seen other kits like this. I think I saw the Clint Eastwood the other week, which is done in a very similar way. Very impressive. Once again, not many parts. Got your base here, like I said. You've got your figure. On the base, there's this lovely little serpent that's coiling around there, rearing up at Alice. Anybody like who's been as lucky as me to see his stage show knows that he plays characters on stage. And one of the things I saw at the Apollo years ago was him in this straitjacket, and it looks remarkably like Alice Cooper in his actual straitjacket. Absolutely fantastic gig. Even if you're not into that gothy kind of rock sort of 70s superstar stuff, if you get the chance to go and see this guy, he's brilliant. Marilyn Manson, sorry mate, you ain't anywhere close to Alice. Alice will always be the master. Marilyn Manson, you're just a poor copy. In fact, Marilyn Manson, you're the 3D digitally printed copy, whereas Alice, you're the traditionally pressure cast guy. Okay, and here we have the little snake's head that goes on there. Only a little bit of a twist there, because, you know, when somebody designs a kit like this, you might think, well, why on earth didn't they just cast the head of the snake onto the base? Well, the reason is because Andy is a great sculptor, and Keith is a great manufacturer. What Keith doesn't want you to get is this base with half a snake's head. Keith wants you to get the whole snake's head. So they're going to cast it separately, aren't they? So don't look at that as an inconvenience. Look at that as a bonus. And also, to prove it's Alice, he's got his microphone. He's got one of these traditional microphones here, and there it clips in. It's on a beautiful little peg. Even the peg is perfectly square. The recess is perfectly square. You know, I look at these kits and I think, yeah, it is lovely. You know, there's a certain satisfaction in I feel that. I felt it click into place. There's no other place that hand can go. It clicks in beautifully. And I think this is an example of Demented Dervish's products. This is an excellent example. It's the business. You know, it's done. There's no cleanup on that. I would suggest that if you got this, when you get it out of the box, when you finish looking at it and admiring it, give it a quick wash in some warm soapy water with a bit of detergent in it. Make sure that the surface is clean, though the surface probably going to arrive already nice and dry. And then you could probably paint straight onto it. Because it's cast in most of it's cast in one piece, the only perhaps cleanup you'd need to do was making sure that the seam isn't visible on that. But there sure ain't no seam on that. That looks like a cuff of a shirt. You can see where it goes in. There's no cleanup on it at all. That's amazing. Now you might be saying, oh, I don't mind doing a bit of cleanup. It's part of the fun. Well, it is a part of the fun. Yeah, it's part of the fun. You could add stuff to it if you wanted to. You could make sure that when this sat on the desk, you might want Alice touching the desk. I personally wouldn't be that bothered. I kind of like the idea of Alice not being part of the desk. I like him kind of suspended above the desk like that, because Alice is not growing out of the desk, is he? This is symbolic of Alice. So, no, okay. So that's all I've got to say on this one, really. But other than the fact it's a remarkably good kit, it's very, very heavy. So the postage is going to be a bit weighty. But let's not bother about that, because what you're getting is an absolutely superb kit. I'm very rarely impressed. I went to have a look at Michelangelo's David in the flesh, so to speak, or in the marble, and I was impressed. I went to the Vatican, saw a couple of more Michelangelos, and I was impressed, right? Very impressed. But it takes Michelangelo to impress me. So when I look at kits like this, if there's any imperfections or the proportions aren't up to much, I go, yeah, nice, Dave, that's a good kit, and then I walk off. But when I saw this, I thought, yeah. And he said, this one, I said, oh, Alice Cooper. And he said, do you know anything about Alice Cooper? I said, of course I know about Alice Cooper. And I know that this is a really good kit. So when you're ready, if it's still available, and I'm not sure it is, so it's going to be rare, so you might need to look for it. But in my opinion, a humble opinion of mine, it's well worth going for. So well done. Okay, well, thanks for watching this episode. Hopefully we'll see you soon, if not in person, on the channel.
And don't forget to smash a like and subscribe to the channel. The channel's been set up as you speak. Hopefully me and Bill will see you soon. Take care, guys.
Cheers.